But for those of you who won't accept substitutes, right here we have the genuine article, a BMW 735i, the biggest BMW. But big as the 7 Series is, you won't find it in nearly as many driveways as the Mercedes-Benz S-Class sedan. BMW would like to find more high-class homes for their 7 Series. But how will they do it? The answer is as simple as saying limited edition. 2 words that strike the fancy of today's upwardly mobile consumers, even better than lower mortgage rates. And the name of this limited edition, the BMW L7. While you won't find the familiar 735i logo on the back, make no mistake about it, this is the same basic 7 Series sedan that's been around since 1978. But the L7 has an altogether different flavor from other 7 Series models and from other German luxury sedans. Just take a look inside. A bright silver gray is the only color available, and leather is the only upholstery. Not just for the seats, but for the door panels, the dash, and the console. It gives the L7 that warmth you won't find in any other German interior. The seats are traditionally German, though, with a firm feel and good support. They're also adjustable 8 ways and have 2 heat settings. The front head restraints adjust electrically, too. And the L7 gets a head restraint of another kind. An airbag resides in the steering wheel hub. There's a knee bolster under the dash, too, for extra crash protection. But some of our drivers hit their knee on it when getting in. Also on the negative side, the steering wheel partially blocks some of the otherwise clear gauges. Typically German, there are no readouts for volts or oil pressure, and the standard fuel mileage meter is about as useful as a pedometer. But the strong stereo has a useful anti-theft device that prevents it from working if removed without permission. Everything else in the L7 is easy to reach and use, from the climate control to the trip computer. It has a remote advance that operates from the turn signal stalk. The L7's automatic transmission also works with a remote of sorts. It's controlled electronically. With it, the driver can select modes for economy or acceleration. And with the 1, 2, 3 position, the driver can lock the transmission into any gear. Handy for rough terrain, bad weather, or for the sports that like to shift for themselves. For passengers, the back seat is comfortable, but less so in the middle, thanks to the center armrest. But there are outboard 3-point belts to keep them safe. And there's also a window shade to keep them cool. Luggage room is abundant. There's easily enough space for carrying 5 passengers worth. But carrying ability means more than space. It means power, too. For that, the L7 has a 3.5-liter inline 6-cylinder. It's fuel-injected and makes 182 horsepower with 214 pound-feet of torque. It's one of the smoothest 6-cylinders around and makes a delightful turbine-like growl when you mash the accelerator. But we wonder if it has enough oomph to pull the L7's 3,700 pounds. Quarter-mile time was a mediocre 18.4 seconds at 78 miles per hour. 0 to 60 was average at 11 seconds. Transmission settings made little difference in these tests. However, with a top speed of 125, it's clear that the L7 was designed more for Autobahn cruising than boulevard dragging. While initial acceleration doesn't glisten, rapid deceleration does. The L7 gets anti-skid brakes. Perhaps that's not a big deal for BMW, since even the 3 Series BMW gets them as standard, but it means a lot in an emergency. They pull this biggest bimmer down from 55 in a short 105 feet, and they'll do the same on wet pavement. The L7's handling also makes you forget about its sluggish straight-line demeanor. It seems happier on a twisty road than any other sedan of its size. Body roll is minimal and response is very neutral, with no front-end plow to speak of and no sway from the rear end either. The steering is also accurate and has excellent road feel, so high-speed interstate driving in the L7 inspires more confidence than the cliché car on rails. A very low interior sound level of 64 decibels helps too. As for fuel economy, the L7 is EPA rated at 15 city, 19 highway. We returned 18 on our mixed driving loop. But then again, who cares? After all, calling the L7 a gas guzzler is a bit like branding a crooked politician a liar. It's a moot point. If you can afford the $46,675 that it takes to buy this L7, you certainly can afford to pay for the gas. Even for that price, the L7 hit us just right with great handling, braking, and high-speed stability. But most of all, we like those un-German qualities of the L7. The over-generous use of excellent leather, the light colors in the interior, and the electronically controlled automatic transmission. As for Mrs., we didn't like the L7's initially pokey acceleration, or its partially blocked gauges and lack of full instrumentation. On safety matters, the L7 passes on all counts, with standard halogen headlights, radial tires, and stronger 5-mile-per-hour bumpers. It also has a passive restraint for the driver and safer 3-point safety belts for the outboard rear seat passengers. So the limited edition L7 isn't exclusive just because of its 1,500 car per year production run. It offers all the things you'd expect, plus the humanistic interior qualities with driving fun that other German luxury sedans lack, all of which gives it unique appeal. And that puts BMW one step closer to parity with the other exalted German car maker. And we can hardly wait to see the next step, the all-new and more powerful 735i that BMW will have in the showrooms this summer. Now, if you have any questions about BMWs or any cars for that matter, address them to Motor Week, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117. That's Motor Week, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117. Lots more road tests in store every week here on Motor Week. We'll see you next time.
Motor Week was proudly brought to you by Prestone Antifreeze and Coolant and by Prestone Super Flush Products.
Studio vehicles courtesy of Westminster AMC Jeep Renault and Schwing Motor Company.